All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. We're going to get back into the Bitcoin miners. I have not touched these Bitcoin miners for a long time, and I'm going to give you the toppy, the extraordinary, the extreme, the bullish, super reach out targets for these two, and then some. Because do you know what? Like, I haven't looked at these charts for a while, and I definitely haven't looked at them on the monthly time scale. And if I'm calling this as I see it, and as I would, I guess, chart anything, is that there's 3 or 4 phases or 3 or 4 waves in crypto in a bull run. We've got one more phase to go, right? We've got one more leg up in Bitcoin. We've got like one more leg up in the kind of total market cap. And then, like I said, some of the, the slower moving altcoins have probably got 2 legs to go. But I think definitely with our Bitcoin miners, Marathon Patent Group, Riot Blockchain, and then even Argo Blockchain, we've still got a big leg up to go. And this is the crazy thing, and I've never looked at it this way. I've only ever had some kind of optimistic targets that would suit me if they were reached. But I'm going to run a few of the normal analysis that I do on these charts and just see where it gets us, right? So I'm going to start with Marathon Patent Group, but before we do, if you're a lover of kind of real, out there targets and fully extended and plus targets for these particular Bitcoin miners, if Bitcoin gets uber bullish, they are going to get uber bullish too. So please like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and click that notification bell. All right, let's get right into it. So we're going to do most of our analysis based on, starting from this last pump in the bull run. So we're going to look at where we've dipped to. We're going to use the Fibonacci's. We're going to use some of that trend-based analysis, and we're going to kind of get an average of the two and just see where we're at. So firstly, let's just put our Fibonacci on it. So if we were starting here from the last pump in the bull market down to the bottoms of the bear market, we are going to get ourselves all the way up to $166. So that's always been my target, is like 150. I'm like, I've saved probably like 25% of my holding in Marathon Patent Group for that last little leg up, right? So I've kind of taken my profits out, put in the gold and silver miners, and diversified my portfolio. That was my strategy. But that last little bit was kind of the payday, right? So my 20%, I'm going to hold on to the very end, right? And try and catch the top. Now, so that's 166 for the top based on that Fibonacci. But there's a couple of things I'm looking at here, right? So I'm looking at, from the March dip, we were quite low, and we then had a really good run up, right? So we had a fairly kind of, if you had a bought in here and sold out there, you got a 13x on your money, right? And then if you had a bought in on this dip and then ran to the top there, it was another 37x. So that's pretty huge, right? So for me, I was kind of in the $2 range. So I'm doing all right. I'm fairly happy with my my entry points and the exit points I've made so far. I've definitely made it a good investment. But there's this next idea that where will it go next? And I don't think it's going to do this leg again. I think for it to do that leg again is like pretty huge, right? Like that's a pretty huge leg to do. So let's just say it did this leg again, this first leg. So we'll even be kind of semi-conservative on it, and we'll kind of go candle bodies to this wick, right? So we'll just see what happens. We'll see where that takes us, and we'll kind of go down as low as there. So we're getting up there now. We're getting up there into some nice territory. And some of you might say like 270, like that'll never get there. That's too high. That's out of the ballpark. But the reason why I think it could get there, and I'm not saying it's going to spend a lot of time up there, because bubble tops can be quite overextended. But the reason why I think it can get there is because once it breaks out of this cloud, this extreme resistance here that it wanted to break through and has pulled back. And I was kind of wondering why Mara was lagging Riot so heavily, and now it makes sense because the cloud is there. We're going to go look at Riot and understand that it's out of the cloud, and that's why it's had a bit of a better run. But once it breaks out of here, once it breaches that 77 level, it's just going to fly. Like the resistance is gone. It's just gonna take off, right? So, and if the stars align and Bitcoin is reaching out to 100,000 or whatever the predictions are, and Bitcoin is uber bullish, there's no reason why Marathon can't be leveraging on that by 3 to 5x. So whatever Bitcoin's going up by in the next leg up, Marathon Patent Group can go up by 5 times that. So let's say Bitcoin goes up, like doubles from here. So it goes up 2 times. You could see that Marathon Patent Group goes up 10 times. So what's that from here if we were to go up a 10x? So that's in the 400s. Now, I'm probably thinking that's a little bit high, but you know what? Like, realistically, could we see a $300 Marathon Patent Group? I wouldn't say no, like only the future's going to tell, but I wouldn't say no that 300 is out of the question, right? Because you've got to think about it. If they're mining Bitcoins and they're worth 100 grand, and then the market's seeing that and they're saying, well, they're mining hundreds of Bitcoin every month or every quarter or whatever, and they're all worth 100 grand each, then their market cap, at the time is going to be valued that way. And it's only when Bitcoin drops again that it pulls back again. So there is a real reality there that we could see anywhere above 160 all the way up to 300, right? So that's my super bullish targets for Marathon Patent Group. Riot blockchain. Same deal again, but notice it's out of the cloud. So it's already out of its like resistance, right? So it's still got chart resistance up here, but I think once again, old data, manipulated data, like a whole other stuff was going on. I think this was even another company that did other things at the time. So there's probably been stock splits or, things like that going on, or stock buybacks or something. So once again, we're going to use from the extension of the bull run, because we know that was a proper cycle in the market, right? So we're going to pull back down here and see where we get. So our blow off top target's 189 for Riot, right? So that would be expected, right? That would be something we could expect. We could see a 180 Riot blockchain. I think that's a fair thing. If Bitcoin gets to 80,000, 90,000, you're easily going to see that Riot blockchain. But if Bitcoin pushes beyond and really kind of surprises the market, and the figures for what Riot blockchain are mining, and and all the stars align, where would we get? So once again, I'm going to do that kind of conservative trend line analysis, from the candle body here all the way up there, and just see where that gets us, from this dip here. So it's kind of the same thing, it's kind of getting us up to 220-ish, right? So possibly, and this is the thing, I was always more bullish on Mara all along, because of the way it ran, like when it peaked higher, but it pulled back more, right? So that's that's the thing. I think Riot was the kind of safer bet. It seemed like the more safer play. It had the better name, but Marathon was there and it was accumulating miners, and once they come online and this whole kind of bullish sentiment kind of picks up again, the stock market is a crazy thing, just like crypto, and it's definitely going to flood and overinflate its market cap compared to I guess that long-term real value in the company, and I think we're going to see probably a resting point on the top here of somewhere in the kind of the 30 to 50 range for the next bear market. But this is what we're talking about, playing bubbles. We're talking about playing blow off tops. And so we're looking at, you know, a 180 plus, a 160 plus, you know, up to 300 Mara. And we're looking at a 225, you know, 189, 225, maybe even more bullish for Riot there, pushing up to the 300s again if Bitcoin goes crazy. So they're my crazy targets, and I'm just going to draw your attention to why that could happen. So look at Argo blockchain. Argo blockchain is also a Bitcoin miner, but it didn't have it, you know, a full alt season, or, you know, a full crypto season of data, of trading, right? So it had only seen really a bear market. So it had this base, and because it didn't have resistance, and once it blew off its 18-cent all-time high, this thing took a tear. You know, so from here, from this base all the way up, you know, we've got like a 70x, 70,000 times your money, right? I mean, 70 times your money, right? So that's huge. That's a huge run. You know, that's way more than Riot. Sorry, that's way more than the Riot and Mara have done. So, like I say, once these things get into price discovery, and this thing's got more to go. You know, like I think I would easily say that Argo is going to get up to 500 pence per share, and some. You know, so if we just, you know, even if it did half that run, you know, we're looking at, you know, maybe even an 800 pence per share or 1,000 pence per share at the very, very tippy peak, you know. So there is something about when stocks break into new all-time highs and they just go into price discovery, right? You know, and these things could happen, you know. But like I say, I'm still personally, my personal strategy for Mara lies around that plus 150, you know, like just seeing where I'm at, seeing what's going on at the time. I'm happy to take, of what I've got left, I'm happy to take 150. But, you know, that's the thing, is like you could probably save 5% of it and see if it extended beyond it, or, you know, just be scaling out, or just kind of sussing out the market and seeing what Bitcoin's doing, if Bitcoin's already topped or whatever. So they're fairly closely correlated, but there's definitely a peak to be snatched, you know, when people believe these things are going higher and higher and higher. Anyway, that's my Bitcoin miner wrap up. You know, super bullish targets there. You know, I think they're all in play. I think all-time highs here are definitely in play on both charts. And, you know, it's going to be an exciting last leg, you know, like I think everything's going to fire. We're going to see the stock market firing. There's going to be bullish sentiment everywhere. There's going to be, everyone's a day trader. Nothing can go wrong. Everyone's a millionaire because of their stocks and their crypto. And then that's when I'm hitting the sell button, right? So let me know what you think in the comments. I know I've been touching on these ones for a while, but like and subscribe the video if you're into the Bitcoin miners analysis. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.